Whiplash was directed by Damien Chazelle. It stars Miles Teller and J.K. Simmons in an Oscar-winning turn. And we gotta talk about this one. It turns 10 years old in 2024, which is absolutely insane. Again, 10 years ago, it seems like 2014 was a really big year for a lot of people. And it's one of those movies that caught lightning in a bottle because it doesn't really feel like it's a thriller in terms of like physical violence. It's not really an action thriller. It is absolutely 100% a psychological thriller. This movie messes with your head. Our hero in this movie is Andrew Neiman, played by Miles Teller. He's an ambitious young jazz drummer in pursuit of rising to the top of his elite music conservatory. He wants to be the next big thing, not just as a drummer, but in all the music industry. And our villain in this one is Terrence Fletcher, played by J.K. Simmons, an unhinged teacher known for his terrifying methods. Fletcher discovers Andrew and he transfers the aspiring drummer into his top jazz ensemble. But Andrew's passion to achieve perfection quickly spirals into an obsession, as Fletcher is pushing him to the brink of not just his ability, but his sanity as well. And it's the consistent butting of heads between these two characters that really captures the magic of Whiplash. Like every adjective that you've heard to describe this movie if you've never seen it before, it's absolutely true. It's exhilarating, it's astounding, it's a thrill ride. And I'll just throw this one in there. It's a mind fuck, because it's been a while since I've seen this movie. And like, I've never had such a love-hate relationship with a character in my life as I have with Fletcher. And J.K. Simmons in this movie, this may have been his greatest performance ever. I know he's known by a lot of geeks around here for playing J. Jonah Jameson in the Spider-Man movies. And this may be peak J.K. Simmons. Every single movie insult that you can think of, and every montage that you see on YouTube of the greatest movie insults of all time, it really does seem like you could fill an entire 15-minute video just with J.K. Simmons' dialogue.
Right? You give a calculator to a fucking retard, he's gonna try to turn on a TV with it. Now get your sticks and get your ass on stage.
God damn, just pushing the lines here. And yes, the yelling and the screaming parts can be very over the top for a lot of people, but that's not what's so unsettling about this guy. It's the fact that you see him in these calm demeanors as well, especially as you get closer to the finale. Especially once you seem like, oh, this guy may be redeemed, but I don't trust this guy as far as I can throw him just based on the shit he's saying. And he has one specific scene where it's like, you're making me kind of tear up here, man. Like, I'm telling you, especially if it's your first time watching Whiplash, you won't know what to think of this guy until the final closing minutes of the movie. And again, razor sharp writing. Damien Chazelle does such a great job with this movie. And a lot like Birdman, which came out the same year, a lot of this score and a lot of the music in this movie is the frenetic pace of the drums and the tempo of the drums. And it's actually kind of genius how it accentuates the panic that's going on in Andrew's life. Like, this movie is so deep and so freaking relatable. As someone who's a perfectionist myself, I suffer from anxiety a lot of the time as well. And I relate to Andrew's journey so freaking much. Now let's talk about Miles Teller, because leading into Whiplash, he was known as a heartthrob actor who was known for playing the drunk best friend. That was usually his typecast. But Andrew Neiman really was a perfect breakout part for Miles Teller, especially because he had been drumming his entire childhood, and he sells the psychological beatdown that J.K. Simmons is giving him, and how he fires back is so damn satisfying. And I don't know if I want to get too deep into spoilers. Again, for those of you who've never seen Whiplash, it's 10 years old at this point. Check it out if you haven't already. But it actually has one of my favorite third acts, I think, in recent film history. And with how this movie is put together, the fast-paced editing, the phenomenal cinematography, this movie looks beautiful, man. The classical soundtrack that you get here, which appears to be in Damien Chazelle's wheelhouse. Usually if his name is on a movie, typically you get some classical music thrown in there. Lots of brass thrown into the mix for you. Justin Hurwitz, I'm looking at you, my friend. You do a great score. But thankfully, unlike the most recent Damien Chazelle movie in Babylon, Whiplash I would consider a masterpiece. I know Babylon has its fans, I understand that, but it does come off a little bit pretentious when I look back at it. Whiplash feels like Damien Chazelle was throwing his entire passion into things and not really worrying about what the Academy had to say about him or what he thinks about him. This is about a young man who has a very troubled family life. He wants to be known as a famous musician, but he's constantly held back by his dad. And his dad is kind of telling him, look, you're reaching a little bit too high. Look for something a little bit more normal in your life. Look for something a bit more achievable. And if there's one thing I can say about Damien Chazelle, he knows how to create heroes' journeys. He knows how to create heroes' journeys that are relatable. Better yet, he knows how to create heroes' journeys that are relatable. Yeah, if you don't believe me after watching this movie, go watch his follow-up in La La Land, which I think is even better. And the reason why this movie works so well, and I think the reason why it caught fire, it's so grounded in reality, and it doesn't even really feel like you're watching a movie. It feels like you're watching real life unfold before your eyes. And with the anxiety attacks that Andrew is having, with the obsession that he has with his craft and improving, and his constant need and looking for approval in the people that shouldn't really matter all that much, like, it's fantastic. Again, Miles Teller and J.K. Simmons together in this movie, their chemistry is unfreaking deniable. J.K. Simmons' performance is goddamn out of this world. More than worthy of that Oscar win 10 years ago. This is the one thing that I feel like put Damien Chazelle on the map. And again, if you haven't seen Whiplash ever before in your life, what the heck are you doing, man? I'm gonna give Whiplash an A+. There's really not much more you can ask for out of what I think is a perfect movie. But let me know what you guys think of Whiplash down in the comments section. What is your favorite Damien Chazelle movie so far? What is your favorite J.K. Simmons performance so far, if it's not this? And also let me know what you think his most brutal insult in this movie was. I think you guys may have gotten my answer earlier. But I love discussing all things in cinema and entertainment here on the regular. If you've stumbled across this channel for the first time, do consider subscribing and tap on that thumbs up as well. And stay tuned for more exciting videos hitting the channel very soon, my friends. Y'all are the best. And with all that being said, Back Talk, commence.